classic time here on Rauta. Today we go all the way back to 1990s, late one albeit, but still. And this is an album that suddenly appeared on my review list. I was kind of pondering what to include on August 2020 because there was no band that was releasing an album. I mean a new band, old band that was releasing a new material, and I could go back to old times. So I was already figuring out like what to do, and suddenly War came here. Now this is a reissue of the 1990s release, just now on repress here. And this is a kind of an interesting case because I guess much like me, older generation remembers this album as being one of those supergroups of the time. But for newer generation, this might be a band that totally went under the radar because, I mean, it existed only for a few years and suddenly it was a goner. I will tell you a little bit of this lineup as we kind of unbox this one because it's a story worth telling. It's a kind of a tragic one really, but let's not go into all the doom and despair, but focus on the good stuff, and that is music. But first, let's take a look how this LP is made of. As you can see, this is very simple cover. I guess there's certain kind of a 1990s vibe, I mean, with these kind of a 3D letters and all that stuff. But the cover is very much what is meant to be. I mean, you have this mushroom cloud with some death appearing in the face of a skeletal being or face, skull, the logo, which is just basically a font, much like Burzum is a font. War, and we are war. Not very original title, but originally is not really the forte of the band. On the back side, we have the track list, and even though there are quite a few tracks, this album is not even 30 minutes in length, so that gives you a little bit of insight of this black metal, what is going on here. Just basic black vinyl, side A and side B, and that's how it is. And then we have this kind of a manifest of the album. As you can see, there it is mentioned who are the members of the bands, and I will get back to that in a bit. And here we have this manifest, which I guess is worth reading, so pause if you have to. And there we have it. And then it's time to take a look at the band's Metal Archive site. Right. So like I said, this is worth telling because, I mean, the band only existed for a few years. Started in 1995, but nothing really happened until 1997 when the first release, the EP called Total War, came out. And I still remember this being kind of a classic because there was this one song called I Am Elite, which was really kind of a, not maybe mind-blowing, but kind of a catchy and still very violent. Much like kind of what Marduk was doing later on with Panzer Division Marduk. Very straightforward, fast tempo black metal with kind of a supergroup lineup. I mean, if you take a look at this list, there is All and It from Abruptum and Vondur and Maflamia. All Swedish, well, more or less important black metal band names. And then we have a couple of guys from Hypocrisy, actually, which makes this even more interesting. I mean, Peter Tägtgren and the guys also had this band called The Abyss, which is also fast tempo black metal, but still different than War. And obviously these guys did a big career with Hypocrisy, or well, still are doing. And then we have Black Moon from Dark Funeral. And these two guys, rest in peace, which kind of brings us to the tragic parts of the band. Now with the actual first debut album, that which we have here, We Are War, the lineup is a little different. Gone are two Hypocrisy guys, but replaced by one other from Hypocrisy, the ex-drummer Lars Zöge. And we have Impious from a band called In Aeternum and other bands. And then we have also All and Black Moon. So it already gone. Also, those two Hypocrisy guys gone. But nevertheless, if we take a look at the full lineup here, I mean the not last known lineup, but the complete lineup, we have quite a list of members here. Really important bands. I mean, not maybe the mainstream level except for Hypocrisy and Dark Funeral, but I mean, lots of talent here. But 2 members already gone, and I mean, it already gone only like 3 years ago, Black Moon and a little bit earlier. So 2 kind of a major members of the band dead. And we're talking about guys who were roughly my age, born in 1970s. So, an interesting story, tragic albeit. Anyway, so the point here is this band had kind of a short living time. I mean, it only was like basically from 1997 to 1999 where it existed, and then it was gone. And it was kind of a surprising. I mean, the band clearly showed a lot of potential with the EP and then this LP that followed it. And even though with the lineup changes, it was clear that all this talent was like burning bright. But maybe because of the other bands these guys had, maybe other ventures and all that stuff kind of meant that this band was only like a short-living side project. And if we take a look at the nowadays feeling of this band, it kind of could be said, yeah, nothing really original. I mean, back in the days, this was kind of like the manifest also already said, it was kind of a middle fingering the whole, let's add some synths, let's add some gothic parts, let's do some female vocals, clean vocals, violence and all that shit. And suddenly these guys were like, no way, dudes, we're not gonna take it, we're gonna bring back black metal with fist spikes, leather danger and inverted crosses and all that stuff. It was all about this kind of a face pounding, straight in your face kind of a black metal. Intense, fast tempo, no gimmicks, no bull crap. All just violent black metal. And I remember people being like, really like, hey, eyebrows going up and like people like, hey, this is great stuff. This is something going back to the basics and still having the real essence of black metal there. I mean, it was praised back then, but because the band kind of died off so quickly, well, it was forgotten. So it's nice to have this We Are War now reprinted here. I mean, if we take a look at this other version tab here, you will see that it was originally printed in 1999. Vinyl, CD, tape. Then suddenly, nothing. Don't know why. Maybe because these guys died, or maybe nobody was interested, or people just maybe forgot the whole release. I don't know, to be honest, but what I think is great that this is now on LP for people who missed the earlier prints, which I could imagine being kind of pricey. Now they have a second chance to fill their collection with these releases, or at least with this particular release. Now, what makes this album interesting, in my opinion, is that, like I said, it's back to basics. It's fast tempo, black metal. It's an album that is, like I said, no gimmicks. It's just what it is. Simple riffs, great playing though, and kind of a rawish production. Nowadays, it probably sounds more rawish, given that, you know, the skill level, the equipment level, and everything has kind of come up. I mean, back in the 1990s, this production wasn't really different. I mean, everything in the 90s sounded kind of raw, harsh, crude, whatever adjective you want to use. So, I mean, it was kind of a piece of its time, you know. But nowadays, when so many albums, even underground bands, have better production, being kind of a cleaner and sometimes just more powerful, with more strength in a way. Now this sounds kind of a crude and raw, but not in a bad way. I mean, it's clear that this is done with skill. And Ave Studio being there, well, it's kind of a given that it's not mixed badly or anything like that. So everything sounds here kind of a powerful, but still crude and raw. And those vocals are really, really good. So everything here is, in essence, not exactly mind-blowing, not the most catchy. But then again, these songs, I mean, if you take a look at the length, there's some 2-3 minute tracks, which are there to pound you and just fuck off after that. Versus so many bands which nowadays, hey, we need to have the 6-8 minute tracks because we need these atmospheric parts. We need these, I don't know, experimental parts or whatever. And these guys were like, this is no way we're gonna do it. It's a simple song. I mean, kill God, hell, war, stuff like that. Very simple, very basic. One could even say it's kind of a boneheaded. But that's exactly the point here. To do kind of a basic black metal. More nodding to bands like Bathory than anything modern. I mean, this is definitely more towards 80s kind of a first wave black metal than anything that is happening nowadays. And I think it's great. Not all people will obviously appreciate that or like it, but in my opinion, this is a classic album that kind of needs its appreciation and deserves all the respect and the kind of hindsight look like, hey, by the way, did you forget this kind of album and band in the first place? Now it's time to take a look. Well, obviously, not everything here is on, social media and whatever, because this band came before Facebook and stuff like that. It existed in Europe anyway. So obviously, you have to do a little bit of digging if you want to find more information about this particular band. But rest assured, because we live in the era where everything is on the internet, you will find it. And of course, there will be a link in the description box where you can actually go and listen to this album in digital format before buying it. So with these words, I hope you have a good time with War. We are War. And maybe you end up buying the LP, because now it's better time to do that. Thank you for watching. Take care and see you with more reviews coming your way. Bye bye.